Okay, everybody, it is out. It is called Multimatic. This is a great dApp. It just launched. It is, they haven't done any marketing or promoting yet, and it's already got a balance of 46,000 Matic as of this video. It's up to 8.7 daily percent. I just like the clean interface of this. It's pretty simple. The little icons are kind of fun, the steak, it's yummy. So let's talk about how this works, then we can get into the audit and the code. So it's got three packages, similar to like maticstaker, but this doesn't have any unlocked packages. They're all locked, so once you put something in here, it's locked for the lock period. And the best thing about this is what it does is it says auto reinvest, but I would say auto compounds. So it compounds everything that you earn every single day through the investment period. So you can see this one for 14 days is at 7%, 21 days is 7.7, and the 28 days is 8.7. These don't change. They're not going to keep going up like maticstaker. Maticstaker, that's tempting, but you can see one of my last videos where I talk about updates and how that will likely bring down the balance really quickly. So this is much more sustainable, and it is sustainable also. These lower, I wouldn't say low, they're crazy good for investment ROI rates, but the auto compounding is great. And then to discourage a lot of big whales jumping in, there is withdrawal taxes, and the higher this ROI, the higher the withdrawal tax. So just keep that in mind. There is a minimum of one Matic deposit, and after we come down here, we can see you can have your total staked. I threw a little bit in this. And then the coolest thing about this is the snooze. Once you get close to the end of your term on your investment, you can snooze it. This is probably one of my favorite features of this, because when you come to the end of the term, you're like, hey, I want it to just keep earning because I don't want to take out the money, use that tax, things like that. I just want to keep it earning because I just plan on reinvesting it. So instead of taking that out and reinvesting it, I can just snooze it and it will keep earning. And this you can do up to 7 days. But as far as I can tell, you can do it unlimited times. So, you could snooze it for a month if you wanted to. Just come in here and snooze it once in a while. So yeah, that snooze button I think is probably my favorite feature on this. And yeah, it's kind of very similar referrals, 5% on the first level, 2.5 and 0.5 on the third. And then once you do deposit in here, you get, it shows your deposits here, and it shows, what you deposited, what you're going to receive. It's got a timer up here about when that lock period will be over. And then it's got the progress. I love having the progress bar here that shows you how far along you are here. And that's basically it. It's very simple, it's very clean, pretty easy to understand. So yeah, let's talk about the audit. All right, so here is the audit. It's nothing crazy in here, just that high issue because it is an ROI dApp. It's considered high risk. Pretty much the same thing we've seen in every other audit for ROI dApps. But that's the only issue that came from the audit. Other than that, it talks about the functionality, the percentages, things like that. It's pretty easy stuff. Just talks about the investment plans. The snooze is really cool. referral system, and then just some notes talking about referrals and how they need to be active. So yeah, that's pretty much the audit. The documentation, I love that they just kind of wrote this out there, put it out there, and very good documentation on the entire thing, because a lot of people are like, hey, we've got a white paper and it's just like a few bullet points and some basically some marketing stuff, and this, they just wrote it out. And I mean, for such a very simple DApp, it's got pretty good documentation here. There is another article, and I will link to it, that talks about kind of everything about this. It's a very good article, so I encourage you to go check that out. Yeah, that's pretty much it on the documentation. I mean, go ahead and read this, because everything you invest in, you should read the documentation thoroughly. Understand exactly what's going to happen, how everything works. Let's go ahead and talk about the contract. Obviously, we've got the contract balance here. The code, I mean, yeah, the code is pretty pristine. Basically just sets up your variables, blah, blah, blah. We've talked about all this before. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing crazy in here. They do the check for maximum number of deposits, so you can't do that. And that's why I'm sure that loop thing did not come up in the audit, because they protected against that here. Allocation, withdraws, it's pretty simple stuff. The snooze, they got protection against somebody trying to go in the contract and putting something higher than 7 days. So yeah, I mean, pretty easy stuff. Of course, we always look for the dividends after the stable one thing, and make sure this loop is not going to create any problems, and they've got the variable before and being returned. Yeah, other than that, yeah, it's pretty simple stuff, and the only real crazy custom functionality is that snooze, and it all looks very clean. So I would say this code is great, and they also optimized it. When you do that snooze, you're not withdrawing and depositing, you're limiting how much gas you're using, things like that. So they did a great job there. So in short, yeah, that's Multimatic. This is probably my favorite Matic staking DApp out there now. It's really built for the user. These things are not supposed to be interacting with them every few hours, because you run into deposit problems and things like that. This one's made for putting your money in there and taking it out later at a great return. And if you want to just keep earning without having to do use those gas fees or taxes or whatever, you can just snooze it. It gives you greater flexibility on deciding when to exit, because you're not tied into something. So after, if you go into the 14 days, if you want it to just keep going longer until you're ready to take out, just go ahead and just keep snoozing it. Or, the 28 days or whatever. That decision is up to you. So I would say, check this out. If you decide to jump into it, go for it. I'll leave the link in my description. Of course, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you need to jump into this. Do your own research. This decision is solely on you. But this is definitely a DApp I'd look at seriously. The community on Telegram is just an organic community. They don't have moderators from an agency or something kind of locking it down. So it's a fun group as well. So yeah, again, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and go ahead and hit subscribe, and we'll talk to you on the